most people are stuck in a negative field of mind. So I want to talk about um, myself here just for a moment. Excuse me. um, so from about the age of 14, I've slowly been garnering, um, almost tending to a sense of positive mindset, like a positive mindset frame, or like a empowering self belief. And over the years, of course there's been ups and downs. I felt horrible at times. I felt great at times. But ultimately, like in general, I've come back to the same sort of moral of um like originally it was discipline, but now it's sort of like motivation. But honestly, like action, staying in the moment, and not overthinking, and that's truly helped me tremendously. Like um, and so from the age of 14, like most people are on their phones, um, playing games with their phones. I was no stranger to that at the time, of course, but I learned these things mostly online. Some from mentors, um, and honestly, like it's gotten to the point now where I feel like distant to most people my age because most people are chasing girls or boys or hookups. Um, they're living at home with their parents, which I still do, which is totally fine, um, in my opinion, as long as you're not a bum. Uh, but most people these days, especially kids my age, not the kids, I'm 18 now, but most people they are chasing things, they're chasing temptations, and so I like this analogy. I sort of thought about it a couple hours ago. Um, Imagine you're at a hill and you're standing next to a big boulder, and it's the boulder of temptation. So you get up Instagram or YouTube, and you're scrolling through stuff. You're going to be flooded with feelings and emotions, and temptations every time you see a video. So say there's one video of like some clip of video of like, um, you have to get this job, you have to f me or something like that, some sort of clickbait thing like that, or um, well, I don't know what's popular these days, but that will inhibit an emotion in you, and that leads to curiosity, and then eventually that leads to temptation. And with the boulder analogy, I imagine curiosity is like a budge in the boulder, and then temptation is the ball starts rolling, and then from there it's sort of a downward spiral until you do the deed, um, the goon. Excuse me. And so what I like to imagine is, say the boulder is rolling, and but every time you say no to the boulder, every time you say, or rather, every time you say no to a temptation, like a lustful, promiscuous thing, or junk food, or something you're trying to avoid, every time you say no to it, which is good for you, like something that's good for you, which is staying on top of it, on top of your mind, your subconscious. Um, every time you say no to that, it's like the boulder doesn't move, and I imagine it as like a hurricane or a rainstorm comes along and slowly erodes the boulder. And every time you say no, the boulder gets smaller, and so is less weight for it to roll down. Like you can imagine that. Like so, every time you say no, it's easier to say no again, and the boulder just gets smaller and smaller. And in the meantime, you're focusing more and more on what's important to you, like achieving your goals and like having daily actions every day to achieve those goals, and like consistently putting the energy and work into that. Um, excuse me. Um, and so what I'm getting to that with that is like what I've been doing recently is just honestly I just cut up all Instagram, pretty much all YouTube, I know YouTube is still social media, but I occasionally go on there. Um, Pretty much also social media. Just because it's just so toxic. Like you have to feed your mind what like if you want to achieve something that's really important to you and it requires a certain mental state, even if you're not aware of that mental state that you need to like you need to be like putting you need to be feeding your subconscious mind with things that are going to help you, especially like the people around you, like the people that you spend the most time around you're gonna become like that person or like those people because like as an example, it'll be the content you consume, the food you consume, the energy around you, the amount of breathing you do, the amount of conscious um, time that you spend in the present moment. Um, but as an example with people, if you're hanging out in like a class or at work with people that are just always talking about the news, which is completely negative, um, or some sort of social media thing, or their ex, or just drama, that's just gonna be a negative. Like you probably believe in that moment that you're you're in control of what's being in your mind. So you're like, okay, I'll listen to it, but it won't affect me. But what you gotta realize is that your subconscious mind is always like taking things in, whether you realize it or not. And so if you're surrounding yourself with negative people who are taking in negative inputs and then expressing it to their friends, and you're around those people, um, you're going to become like them. You're going to become negative, and it will take you out of a mental state that you need to be in to progress in the things that you really care about deeply. And so you have to surround yourself with positivity. Like it sounds cliche, but you really need to just try your best to be positive. And something that I've potentially realized recently is how you know how it says often online it's like or even just people say this like this is purely just introspective, it could just be an assumption, either way. um like people say that positivity is like you can't just be like so toxically positive, but like if you're positive about something, like if your self-belief is high and you're positive about how you're feeling and about your actions that you're taking every day, like surely that's just an upward spiral. So as long as you can just like keep the positive flow going, your mental state will sort of like sort of gradually rise. Excuse me. Yeah, that's why I think social media is just such like a parasite in your mind. Because one, it's a waste of time. Two, it's negative, full of negativity. Um, there's a bunch of promiscuous stuff. Like porn is everywhere. If you think about any social media platform, like lustful things, even books these days, um, even if they don't have images in them, like they just inhibit like a spark in your mind, and it's a downward spiral, like the boulder analogy. So try to avoid negativity and loss. And what's really important these days is to just go cold turkey. Try to cut out as much of it as you can, and just focus on being busy with the things that you truly care about every day consistently by taking action, because self belief is built through action. So that's everything today.